Did you know that some bottles of sherry vinegar are older than your car? And even your college degree? That's right. This rich, tangy elixir is aged for up to 30 years, just like fine wine. But wait, this isn't your average vinegar. Sherry vinegar comes with centuries of Spanish tradition, a secret aging process, and flavors that'll blow your taste buds away. Today we're going inside a Spanish vinegar factory to discover how sherry vinegar is made, from grape to barrel to bottle. Spoiler alert, there's fire, fermentation, and a whole lot of oak barrels involved. Long before sherry vinegar was bottled and sold in gourmet stores, it started, as many great things do, by accident. In the cellars of southern Spain, sherry winemakers would occasionally discover barrels that had left too long, exposed to a little too much air. The wine would begin to sour. What could have been a disaster became a discovery. They tasted it. It was sharp, but also complex. A little wild, a little woody. The vinegar that emerged was unlike anything else, richer, deeper, and full of the same character that made their wines famous. Over time, what was once a mistake became a deliberate craft. Vinegar makers in the Jerez region began selecting wines on purpose, using the same grapes, the same barrels, and even the same solera aging system as sherry winemakers. In 1994, the European Union granted it protected designation of origin status. Now only vinegar made in the Jerez Triangle, using traditional methods, can legally be called Vinagre de Jerez. So while it started in the shadows of wine cellars, sherry vinegar has grown into a proud tradition in its own right. A perfect balance of acid and art, chance and choice, aged not just in barrels, but in history. Every drop of sherry vinegar begins its life not as vinegar, but as wine. And not just any wine. Sherry wine, born in the sun-drenched vineyards of southern Spain. The grapes used are mostly Palomino, a variety that thrives in the chalky white soils of the Jerez region. These soils, called albariza, act like natural sponges, soaking up winter rains and slowly releasing moisture through the long, hot summers. After harvest, the grapes are pressed and the juice is fermented into a dry white wine, the base for traditional sherry. But instead of being consumed as wine, a portion of it is set aside for something even more special, the long transformation into vinegar. And here's the twist. The wine isn't immediately soured. It's often fortified with a bit of grape spirit to stabilize it, just like traditional sherry, preserving its flavors before it begins its slow journey toward acidity. So before it ever turns tangy, sherry vinegar begins as a carefully crafted wine, full of complexity, history, and the character of the land it came from. Now that we have our sherry wine, it's time for transformation, from wine to vinegar, through the natural process of acidification. This is where alcohol meets oxygen, and nature takes the wheel. Special bacteria, called acetobacter, go to work, feeding on the alcohol and converting it into acetic acid, the molecule responsible for vinegar's signature sharpness. But this isn't just letting wine sit out in the sun and hoping for the best. In a modern factory, conditions are carefully controlled. Temperature, airflow, and exposure time are all monitored to ensure a clean, consistent fermentation. Some producers use stainless steel tanks equipped with aeration systems to speed up the process. Others take a slower, more traditional route, allowing the vinegar to develop at its own pace in wooden vats. As the alcohol slowly disappears, something new emerges, a complex, deeply aromatic liquid, still sharp, but layered with the first hints of what will become that unmistakable sherry vinegar flavor. At this stage, it's technically vinegar, but it's still young, raw, and brash. To become the real deal, it needs something more: time, wood, and the wisdom of the solera system. Now comes the heart of what makes sherry vinegar truly extraordinary. The solera system, a traditional aging method borrowed from sherry wine production and perfected over generations. The bottom row holds the oldest vinegar, sometimes decades old. The rows above contain progressively younger batches. This is the solera y criadera system, equal parts aging and blending, science and art. A small portion of vinegar is drawn from the bottom barrels for bottling, but they're never emptied. Instead, they're topped up with vinegar from the row above, just a little. Then that row is refilled with vinegar from the next youngest row, and so on. This creates a living, evolving system where the old vinegar teaches the young, and every drop contains a trace of the generations before it. But aging here is about more than just time. The barrels, usually made of American oak, impart rich, woody notes, letting the vinegar breathe and oxidize slowly. Over years, the vinegar darkens, thickens, and develops intense layers of flavor. Nutty, fruity, even a little smoky. Some vinegars are aged for 6 months, others for 10, 20, even 30 years. The longer it rests, the more concentrated and complex it becomes, until what began as simple wine becomes a culinary treasure. After years, sometimes decades of careful aging, the vinegar is finally ready to take its place among the finest flavors in the culinary world. But before it ever sees a bottle, it must pass one final test: perfection. In a dedicated lab within the factory, trained technicians and master tasters begin their work. Here, every batch is evaluated, not just by machine, but by human senses honed over years. They analyze acidity levels, density, color, and aroma, ensuring it meets strict standards set by the denomination of origin, Vinaigre de Jerez. Only vinegars that fall within the precise range of acetic strength, at least 7%, and exhibit the complex, nuanced character expected of aged sherry vinegar, are approved for bottling. If it doesn't pass, it waits, it rests, it evolves further until it does. Once approved, the vinegar moves to the bottling line, where centuries of tradition meet modern efficiency. Large wooden vats slowly feed the vinegar into stainless steel pipes, filtering gently to preserve flavor. Bottles are washed, dried, and filled with care, often by machines but under human supervision. Each is sealed with cork or screw cap, then labeled, sometimes by hand for artisan lines. Labels include vintage age, origin, and sometimes even the bodega name, a mark of pride. For rare vinegars aged over 10 or 20 years, the packaging is often just as refined as the contents. The vinegar, once humble wine, transformed by time, oak, and expertise, is ready to travel. From a small town in southern Spain, it now heads to gourmet kitchens, fine dining tables, and curious home cooks around the world. While all sherry vinegars share a common origin, some varieties take the craft to an entirely different level: rare, aged, and revered. Among the finest is Vinegar de Jerez Reserva, aged for at least 2 years, and Gran Reserva, which rests in oak for over 10 years. These aren't your everyday pantry staples. They're complex, velvety, with flavors that linger long after the last drop. Bottling limited editions aged for 20, 30, even 50 years. These are often drawn from the oldest barrels in a solera, some dating back to generations past. And the price? A single bottle of high-end sherry vinegar, Gran Reserva, can fetch hundreds of dollars, especially if it's artisan-made, aged in rare barrels, or tied to a legendary sherry house. With notes of dried fruit, toasted almond, vanilla, and spice, these vinegars are treated like fine perfume, used drop by precious drop. For chefs and collectors alike, they're not just condiments, they're liquid heirlooms. And there you have it, the incredible journey of sherry vinegar, from sun-soaked vineyards and sherry wine barrels to aging cellars filled with time and tradition. It's a process that blends science, history, and flavor into something far more than just vinegar. It's a legacy in a bottle, crafted with patience, perfected through generations, and poured with purpose. So the next time you splash a little on a salad, glaze a piece of meat, or stir it into a sauce, know this: you're tasting centuries of craftsmanship and the soul of southern Spain. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look into the world of sherry vinegar, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment below about your favorite way to use it, and subscribe for more deep dives into the foods we love but rarely think about. And just in case you have missed some of the older episodes, we have you covered. We have attached a special selection of past Factory View episodes to this video. So stay with us and enjoy more fascinating food discoveries. See you in the next episode. Iberico pigs, the world's most luxurious pork. In a forgotten corner of Europe, where ancient oak trees spread their arms over wide sunlit pastures, lives an animal unlike any other. This is the dehesa, a vast agro-silvo-pastoral landscape unique to the Iberian Peninsula. It's a place shaped by both nature and centuries of careful human stewardship. And it's here that the story of the Iberico pig begins. These black-coated pigs live in harmony with the land. They forage freely, grow slowly, and yield meat so exquisite it's compared to fine wine or aged cheese. Can you believe that a single leg of this special breed can cost around $4,000? That is a remarkable price for a piece of meat. Join us today at Factory View to see why this special pig is revered by chefs, prized by gourmets, and protected by Spanish law. Let us reveal to you why the Iberico pig is not just livestock, but a living heritage. Let's dive in. The Iberico pig is a rare breed native to Spain and parts of Portugal. With roots that stretch back thousands of years, it is believed to be descended from wild boar and early domesticated pigs. Shaped over centuries by climate, terrain, and diet, these pigs are easily distinguished by their black hair, long snouts, and elegant, athletic build. But the true hallmark of the breed lies beneath the surface, their ability to store fat inside the muscle fibers. A genetic gift that results in the extraordinary marbling that defines Iberico meat. Breeding Iberico pigs is a careful process. Farmers look for traits like good muscle tone, high intramuscular fat, disease resistance, and maternal instinct. Only the best are chosen to carry the breed forward. In some farms, purebred Ibericos are maintained for the highest quality jamon, while others are crossbred with Duroc pigs, producing animals that grow more efficiently but still deliver exceptional taste. Each litter represents a delicate balance, flavor that is truly world-class. From the moment they are weaned, Iberico pigs live as few livestock ever do, free to roam, explore, and forage in the oak-studded savanna of the Dehesa. This habitat, exclusive to parts of Spain and Portugal, is more than just pasture. It's an ecosystem where pigs, trees, and farmers coexist in a finely balanced cycle. The pigs help regenerate the forest by spreading seeds and clearing undergrowth. In return, the land provides them with wild herbs, grasses, and, most importantly, acorns. Each year, from October to February, the Montanera begins. During this ancient feeding season, the pigs feast almost exclusively on acorns from holm and cork oaks. These nuts are high in fat and antioxidants, and they give Iberico meat its signature nutty sweet aroma and smooth texture. A pig can gain up to 1 kilogram of weight per day during the Montanera, with fat accumulating inside the muscle, not just around it, resulting in deep marbling and flavor that melts on the tongue. In a world of industrial farming, the Iberico system is a throwback and a defiant statement. It values quality over quantity, patience over profit. Each pig has access to 2 hectares or more of open land. They grow naturally over 18 to 24 months. That slow pace is essential for developing the flavor and the texture people expect from Iberico. Asterisk antibiotic use is minimal, and growth hormones are strictly prohibited. The result? A farming model that's low impact, regenerative, and deeply respectful of the animals and the environment. When the time comes, the pigs are humanely slaughtered in certified facilities. Then, the transformation begins, from free-ranging animal to culinary treasure. Each Iberico pig yields a wide array of premium cuts. The hind leg, destined to become the legendary jamon Iberico. The front leg, or paleta, smaller and slightly more intense. The loin, or lomo, spiced, cured, and air-dried. And the sought-after fresh cuts, presa, pluma, and secreto, revered by chefs for their succulence and flavor. This isn't mass production. It's precision, craftsmanship, and culinary respect. The crown jewel of Iberico pork is the jamón ibérico de bellota, an artisanal product that takes years to make. First, the legs are buried in sea salt for several days to draw out moisture and begin preservation. Then they are rinsed, hung to dry, and aged for 24 to 48 months or even longer. Some curing houses use controlled environments. Others rely on natural mountain air, allowing the seasons to gradually work their magic. Each ham is tended to by hand. Experts known as maestros jamoneros use their senses, sight, smell, touch, and even sound, to determine when each leg is ready. This is not factory meat. It is handcrafted, slow-aged, and singular in character. In the world of gastronomy, Iberico pork holds a place of honor. While most pork is lean and neutral, Iberico is rich, complex, and silky. Its fat melts just below body temperature, releasing a cascade of flavor. Earthy, nutty, subtly sweet. In fine dining, cuts like secreto or presa are grilled medium rare, like a fine steak. And then there is the jamón. The jamón ibérico de bellota is sliced paper thin and eaten slowly as you would a rare vintage. It needs no seasoning, no sauce, just time, skill, and appreciation. To eat it is not just to taste pork, it's to taste Spain's soul. It may sound too good to be true, but the meat from Iberico pigs offers more than just indulgence. It's also remarkably nutritious. Unlike ordinary pork, the fat in Iberico pork is composed of over 50% oleic acid, the same heart-healthy monounsaturated fat found in extra virgin olive oil. This fat profile helps to reduce LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, increase HDL, or good cholesterol, support cardiovascular health when consumed in moderation. This is one of the only red meats that fits into a Mediterranean diet. It has the flavor of indulgence, but the chemistry of balance. It's also a powerful source of high-quality protein, B vitamins, zinc, and iron, nutrients essential for energy, muscle repair, and immune function. For chefs and nutritionists alike, Iberico pork is a rare fusion. Flavor, finesse, and function, all in one bite. While jamón ibérico is the most famous export, Iberico pigs yield a world of other gourmet treasures. Lomo embuchado, whole pork loin, cured with paprika, garlic, and sea salt. Chorizo ibérico, rich and smoky, spiced with pimentón. Salchichón ibérico, seasoned with black pepper, aged to perfection. And the tender, fresh cuts, presa, secreto, pluma, each with their own fat profile and flavor nuances. Each product reflects centuries of regional knowledge, from Extremadura to Salamanca, blending spice, smoke, air, and time into culinary heritage. Whether cured or fresh, grilled or air-dried, every cut from the Iberico pig tells a regional story shaped by hands, not machines. In Spain, not all Iberico ham is created equal. That's why a color-coded grading system ensures transparency and traceability. Black label, 100% purebred Iberico, fed only on acorns in open pasture. Red label, crossbred Iberico, also acorn-fed and free-range. Green label, free-range but supplemented with feed. White label, farm-raised and fed on grain. This system, protected under Spain's Denomination of Origin, DO, guarantees not just quality, but authenticity. When you see a black label, you're tasting the highest expression of the Iberico tradition. In Spain, the act of slicing jamón isn't just preparation, it's performance. A trained jamonero uses a long, flexible knife to carve paper-thin slices from the leg, revealing its marbled interior and glossy amber-colored fat. Done correctly, each slice is a perfect balance of fat and muscle, designed to melt on the tongue and release wave after wave of flavor. Like tea ceremonies or sushi making, precision slicing is part of the ritual, honoring the years it took to raise, cure, and perfect each leg. At a time when the world is rethinking its relationship with meat, the Iberico system offers a powerful example of regenerative agriculture. The Dehesa ecosystem supports biodiversity, prevents wildfires, and sequesters carbon, all while allowing traditional animal husbandry to thrive. Iberico pigs play a role in that cycle, turning acorns into nutrient-rich fertilizer, disturbing the soil just enough to help new growth emerge. This is not factory farming. This is sustainable coexistence, where nature, animals, and people benefit equally. Once a well-kept Spanish secret, Iberico pork now appears on gourmet menus in luxury markets around the world. From Tokyo to New York, London to Dubai, chefs and consumers are discovering its unique qualities and demanding traceability and authenticity with every bite. Yet at its core, Iberico pork remains deeply local, tied to Spain's land, climate, and rural communities. To the people who raise them, Iberico pigs are more than livestock. They are part of a living tradition, a way of life that connects food to land, past to present, and to those who taste the final product, whether it's a slice of jamón ibérico de bellota or a grilled secreto, it becomes clear. This isn't just meat. It's a legacy, a culture, a flavor of time itself. In every bite of Iberico pork, there's something more than taste. There's heritage, there's craft, there's nature, slow, patient, and enduring. It's the story of the Iberico pig, an animal raised with care, in a place unlike any other, producing food that feeds not just the body, but the soul. This is more than farming. This is more than cuisine. This is Iberico. If you enjoyed this Factory View episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for more food journeys, factory tours, and culinary stories. And just in case you have missed some of the older episodes, we have you covered. We have attached a special selection of past Factory View episodes to this video. So stay with us and enjoy more fascinating food discoveries. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.
A small parcel of dough filled with savory meat or vegetables, folded by hand. This is the wonton, a dish born over 2,000 years ago in China's Han Dynasty. It has since become a global favorite. Originally named Hundun, meaning chaos, the wonton has evolved over centuries. In the south, thin-skinned, delicate wontons swim in broth, while the north favors heartier meat-filled versions. Other cultures have embraced similar ideas: Italian ravioli, Russian pelmeni, Japanese gyoza, but the wonton remains a symbol of home, especially during festivals and family gatherings. Today, wontons are enjoyed worldwide, from food stalls in Guangzhou to high-end restaurants in New York and Tokyo. Whether in classic soup or fried to crispy perfection, they are loved for their rich flavor, delicate texture, and cultural significance. But how do these ancient delights make their way to tables across the globe on a massive scale? Join us as we take you inside a modern wonton factory in China, where tradition meets innovation. Step number 1, sourcing the ingredients. Before a single wonton is folded, its story begins in the fields and farms of China. The crispness of a wonton often comes from its vegetables, Napa cabbage and scallions being essential ingredients. Napa cabbage is chosen at peak maturity, firm, dense, and rich in natural sweetness. Workers inspect each head by hand, discarding any that fail to meet size, texture, or color standards. A perfect cabbage has tightly layered leaves, essential for retaining moisture and texture during cooking. Scallions are harvested early in the day to preserve their pungent aroma. Their fresh green shoots destined to lend a delicate sharpness to the wonton feeling. Supporting flavors like garlic and ginger are equally important. Only bulbs with rich oils and strong fragrance are selected, ensuring that every bite carries the familiar warmth of a traditional wonton. For centuries, pork has been the heart of the classic wonton. In modern production, sourcing the right pork remains a craft of its own. The factory partners with small to medium-scale farms that prioritize animal welfare, diet control, and breed quality. knowing that the texture, fat content, and flavor of the pork will define the final product. Each cut is evaluated for an ideal lean-to-fat ratio, a balance that creates a juicy, tender filling. Meat too lean results in dryness, too fatty, and the wonton loses its delicate structure. The pork must be vibrant pink, firm to the touch, and free from excess sinew or gristle. Once harvested or processed, ingredients are transported under strict temperature controls, ensuring that freshness is never compromised. Upon arrival at the factory, another round of inspections begins. Every shipment logged, tested, and certified before it ever enters production. Only after this painstaking selection process, after the earth's bounty and the farmer's care have been honored, can the real work of creating the wonton begin. But before we continue, I'd like to know, have you ever tried wontons? And if so, what is your favorite filling? Do you like the light vegetarian version with cabbage filling? Or are you team meaty and juicy wontons with pork filling? Comment below the video. And now, let's step right into the factory. Step number 2, preparing the filling. The freshly arrived pork is chilled, never frozen, to maintain its natural moisture. In large stainless steel grinders, it is ground to just the right consistency, fine enough to blend smoothly, yet coarse enough to remain a tender bite. Napa cabbage, hand-shredded or machine-cut, depending on the scale, is lightly salted to draw out excess water. This simple but crucial step provides soggy fillings and ensures the wonton stays juicy without breaking apart. Scallions, garlic, and ginger, the aromatics that define Chinese cooking, are finely minced. Their fragrances rise into the air as they are folded into the mixture, awakening the senses even before cooking begins. Measured precisely by weight and time, seasonings such as light soy sauce, sesame seed oil, white pepper, and a touch of sugar are added. Here, exact formulas, closely guarded by the factory's master chefs, ensure that every batch maintains the signature balance of savory, sweet, and umami that defines a perfect wonton. Massive industrial mixers rotate methodically, marrying the ingredients into a uniform filling. The machines are calibrated to mimic the gentle kneading action of human hands, preserving the texture while blending flavors intimately together. At this stage, the mixture undergoes a critical check, not by machines, but by people. Veteran food technologists sample the filling, adjusting seasoning if needed. But even in a modern factory, the human palate remains the ultimate judge. Step number 3, making the dough. When the filling rests, another essential craft unfolds: the making of the wonton wrapper, a task requiring precision, patience, and a deep respect for tradition. It begins simply. Premium wheat flour, carefully milled for its fine texture and moderate gluten content, is poured into massive industrial mixers. To this, pure water and a pinch of salt are added. Nothing more, nothing less. As the mixers churn, the dough slowly comes together, transforming from a coarse, lumpy mass into a smooth, elastic sheet. Achieving the right elasticity is crucial. The dough must be strong enough to hold the filling without tearing, yet tender enough to yield effortlessly with a bite. Temperature, humidity, and even mixing time are all meticulously controlled. In this environment, science is as important as tradition. Few degrees too warm and the dough becomes sticky. Too cool and it dries and cracks. Once rested to relax its gluten, the dough is fed into a series of mechanical rollers, powerful yet delicate machines designed to mimic the gentle pressing motion of hand rolling. Layer by layer, the dough is thinned to a translucent sheet, just fractions of a millimeter thick. Here, perfection is non-negotiable. Too thick and the wonton feels heavy and doughy. Too thin and it risks breaking during folding and cooking. Automated cutters stamp out perfect squares, each precisely measured, each identical, a testament to the harmony of ancient technique and modern engineering. Step number 4, assembling the wontons. Now, with filling chilled and wrappers prepared, the true artistry of wonton making comes alive. A delicate dance of precision, speed, and craftsmanship. In traditional kitchens, skilled hands would pinch, fold, and seal each wonton with intuitive care. Here, in the modern factory, advanced machines replicate those time-honored motions with astonishing accuracy. Automated arms gently place a measured portion of filling at the center of each wrapper. Each mound is uniform. Neither too much to overwhelm the dough, nor too little to leave a hollow bite. Next, the folding begins. Different regions of China inspire different shapes. Some folded into tight little purses, others shaped like golden ingots, a symbol of wealth and prosperity. The machines designed to mimic human dexterity fold the wrappers swiftly, yet tenderly. Quality checks happen in real time. High-speed cameras monitor every fold, every seal, instantly. In some selections of the factory, human hands still intervene, adjusting folds, perfecting more intricate shapes for premium batches destined for high-end restaurants, The human touch remains essential, especially where tradition demands a certain grace that machines alone cannot yet replicate. One by one, thousands upon thousands of wontons come to life, each an edible echo of a craft passed down through the centuries. Step number 5. Flash freezing. With the wontons freshly folded and their delicate shapes perfected, the next challenge is preservation. Capturing their freshness, their tenderness, their spirit, exactly as they are, in a single moment. The wontons travel gently along conveyor belts moving toward enormous freezing tunnels where temperatures plummet far below freezing, to nearly minus 30 degrees Celsius. Here, speed is everything. The faster the wontons freeze, the smaller the ice crystals that form inside them. Small crystals mean no damage to texture, no loss of flavor, only pure, preserved perfection, waiting to be awakened later in a bubbling pot of soup or sizzling pan of oil. Inside the tunnels, powerful fans blast icy air over the wontons from every angle. In a matter of minutes, they are flash frozen, their delicate wrappers locked in a fragile frozen sheen, their juicy fillings preserved in stasis. This process not only protects the wonton's taste and texture, but also extends their life, allowing them to travel thousands of miles, from factory floors in China to dining tables across the globe, without losing the essence of their handmade beginnings. When they emerge from the freezing line, they are as pristine as the moment they were folded, each one a tiny frozen treasure, waiting for its story to continue. Step number 6, quality control, packaging, and distribution. Before the wontons can leave the factory floor, they must pass one final test, a test of quality, of consistency, and of pride. Trained inspectors move swiftly yet carefully along the production lines, examining the wontons by sight, by touch, and even by taste. Random batches are cooked and sampled on the spot, ensuring that the flavors are balanced, the textures perfect, and the folds intact. Only the wontons that meet the highest standards in size, shape, and taste move forward. Those that fall short are set aside, never reaching the customer's plate. Approved wontons slide into automated packaging lines where they are portioned, sealed, and labeled with precision. Vacuum sealed or carefully boxed, they are shielded against time, temperature, and travel. From the final packaging stations, the wontons are swiftly moved into deep storage or loaded into refrigerated trucks. Their journey continues by road, by sea, and by air, crossing cities, countries, and continents. Each packet carries more than just food. It carries a story of tradition honored, of craft perfected, and of flavors that connect people across the world. If you love this behind-the-scenes look, hit that like button and subscribe. And just in case you have missed some of the older episodes, we have you covered. We've attached a special selection of past factory review episodes to this video, so stay with us and enjoy more fascinating food discoveries. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.